Knick of
Ooh.
Time Show. Go check out that show. It's a great show. It's a great show.
New York, New York, big city of dreams. New York, New York, big city of dreams.
If the Knicks cannot hit threes, how do the Knicks win? How? How, squad? What's going on? This is Jay Ellis from Knick Of Time Show. Here, give you that Knicks talk just in good time. And we are suffering a back-to-back loss. That's right. LA has not been nice to us in these two games. I don't know if he's on Hollywood too long with the thotties or whatever, but we did not come around to a win. We lose 118 to 126. And there was a bunch of issues, all right? We had 19 turnovers, 24 points off of turnovers. We barely won the rebounding battle, but also the three-point shooting from the Clippers was out of this world. We could not guard the three whatsoever. And a team who's generally a low-volume three-point shooting team shot 39 threes and 46% of those, while the Knicks only hit 35% of those. And the bench only gave us 11 points on the night. Problems all over the place. We're going to talk about it all. The ugly, and the ugly with a sprinkle of good. All right, so let's talk about it. Before I do, I'm going to introduce you to my peoples. First and foremost, it is the Latin assassin, ESPN contributor, Bleacher Report contributor. My guy, Elias Vito, was good.
JLSB, the motivator, Ryan G. I guess we'll start the podcast off on a positive note before we get negative. Shout out to B, the motivator, for her appearance on Dexter Henry, He.Game, and the New York Post. If y'all don't know, B is, if you see the little one back there, she's also a mom. She's a mom of two. And she does this as a hobby, but in passion, and she's been growing a lot in her craft. So to be recognized by Ian Bedley now 2 times on Dexter Henry, it shows the best in the business are also recognizing that as well. And we are very proud to have her be a part of his team. If one of us wins, we all win. So it's been great to watch her rise and get better every time after every time, and awesome to be able to share the stage with her tonight.
Absolutely. So definitely check that out, the NY Got Game, and retweet it on Twitter. Actually, I'm gonna put it in the community post. I usually put those I'll put it in the community post after the post game. All right. I also, since you already introduced her, shout out to our ex-AAU coach. Be motivator was good.
I guess I'll follow Lee's way and just keep it positive right now. I like the fight, at least today. We'll get into the dirty work, the fact that we had to fight, but I like today's fight. I like Karl-Anthony Towns' performance. I like a little bit of the JB sprinkle. But there was a lot that went ugly outside of that. So we'll get into that, and I hate losing, so, but hey, on to the next one.
On to the next. And of course, you already know it is our dude, Ryan G, in the building. Was good.
Congrats to B. I'm about to get a little bit negative, though. The Knicks were cheeks tonight. But despite being cheeks, they actually had a shot despite being cheeks. So I'll leave it at that.
Yeah, I feel like a couple of games in a row, despite being, as Ryan G would say, cheeks, the Knicks had a shot. But I'm going to keep with the vibe. Everybody said they want to start with the positive. I'm going to start with, because this is going to be like 40 minutes of negatives, all right? I'm just letting you know right now. It's going to be negative galore. But we're going to start with the positive today, because we seem in the positive mood right now, all right? So be a motivator, man. What are your positive takeaways from tonight?
Karl-Anthony Towns. He's gotten a lot of slack. So again, it's very rare that we could give him his flowers. But it's been becoming a consistent thing lately since All-Star break, at least. And I want to stay on that train because who knows what would happen again as time goes on with him, because he is a very up and down type of player. So when you could give it to him, I want to give it to him. He had 35 points, 12 rebounds, 7 assists, and a block. The defense was very, very good. With Towns, there's a lot of times where we see a big spurt where he's having a terrible game, which leads into an overall bad game. But nowadays, I'm just seeing a couple bad plays and he gets right back into his groove. And I'm just nice to see that again today. I like Brunson's facilitation again today. Finally, the shots are starting to fall for him. There was him and other bad plays are going to happen with him as well. There were some plays where I wish they didn't occur, but I like to see his offense going again with still the fact that he's staying up there with the assist. OG had a little splash, 22 points. The three was a little bit better today. But aside from those three, man, oh man, it was ugly. But I'm gonna stay on the positive because we will get into that. But Karl-Anthony Towns, I can't give him enough credit. I stated on my Twitter today. I told you guys in the chat, the real MVP since the All-Star break.
Yep.
He's been playing very, very well. I like the shots that he's taking. And I was saying to Lee today, I would love for him to continue to play outside in versus inside out. I know a lot of people wanted him to look in the post and play in the post, but when his three is falling, it's so much easier for him to just drive to the basket, get to the free throw line, and finish strong. So I like that the three is finally falling for him, especially in today's game.
Yeah, it's great because the coach's vision for Karl-Anthony Towns and his offense was he wanted him to be able to be unpredictable and be able to shoot the ball and post and do it and just be everywhere on the floor. And it seems like we've gotten to the point at this point in the season where he's comfortable shooting from three in the corners, comfortable shooting from three on the top of the key, comfortable in closeouts. He's shooting fadeaways in the mid-range. He's taking it to the hole. He's doing hook shots. He's kind of have this complete, full offensive repertoire. So I feel like the coach's vision on how to use Karl-Anthony Towns has finally has kind of developed. And that's what I really love about Karl-Anthony Towns' game since after the All-Star break. He started to struggle in the first half of the season, but this half of the season is like, this is what I've been looking for. Lee, what are you seeing as a positive, if there's any positives left? I definitely have one positive that I want to get to, but I'll toss it to you first.
I'm going to stay on the Karl-Anthony Towns train. Also want to let you know, bro, your mic is sounding a little bit of an echo. So I just want to let you know that while I do my monologue, maybe you can check that out. Towns, 35 points, 13 of 17, another high efficiency, high volume night. Light scene, 17 shots. I believe he had 17 the last game that I podcast on. 3 for 4 for 3, 12 rebounds, 7 dimes. Easily one of his best offensive games in weeks. I agree with B. He's been the MVP since All-Star break, best player of 2026. And I like the way that his touch has been better since the All-Star game, too, on all three levels. I still want to see more three-point shots, but I like the he's inside the lane. He's having better footwork, driving to the lane without causing offensive fouls, and better finishing around the rim. The passing continues to stand out as well. You can see it on the box score, 7 dimes. But there are also a lot of really nice drive and kick reads that he had tonight, too. And I think that the way that he's generating as a screener for I know you've been talking about this, Jay, because you have multiple podcasts, but the two-man game between Brunson and Cat. Cat's now developing as a screener for Jalen Brunson as well. A lot of down screens, didn't Jalen Brunson to get at least 3-4 feet further into the lane before Brunson didn't give him that go-ahead pass for Cat. Cat missed and made a few of them. He missed a really nice one from Jose Alvarado in a pick-and-roll coverage, but I thought some of the passes that him and Brunson had to each other was nice. Like that, you just saw it. You saw the volume and the gravity of it that would constitutes when those two are in the action together. The defense can't help but concentrate on it, right? So then that would ostensibly leave open shots for Landry Shamet, Jose Alvarado, Mateo Bridges, OG Anunoby, but unfortunately, all those guys were a bag of bum tonight. So we didn't get any extra additional points on top of the two-man game. But I do like seeing Cat being used more of a screener and being involved in actions with Brunson as well as Jose Alvarado. And he's been an absolute beast, man. Towns, when a player is going through a negative stretch and has critical elements of their game that I think are going to stop us from winning a chip, I'm going to talk about it, right? That's no longer the case. I'm no longer worried about Karl-Anthony Towns' defense playing the center position. I'm no longer worried about Karl-Anthony Towns' offensive game either. He's been incredible. It's ridiculous to say that at the start of a season and the end of a season and never change your tone or your opinion based on the evidence before you. The evidence is changing, so is my take. However, when we get to other players, I'm going to be a lot more harsh, but I think B was right. Let's start with the positives. And Karl-Anthony Towns has been one of the best players in the entire NBA. And right now he's having the best couple months of his entire season.
Yeah, I've been, my eyes have been glued to the two-man game between Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson. I've been wanting to see that unfold for a couple of seasons. I've started to notice that it started to kind of develop as of last week, where we've seen it like a play here, play there, and then the next game has been like 3 plays and 4 plays. This is the most two-man game I've seen Karl-Anthony Towns and Jalen Brunson play within the entire 2 seasons, and it looked freaking beautiful. I will watch the Denver Nuggets and be jealous of the Jokic and what's the other? Jamal Murray's 2-man game and how they screen and rescreen and move off each other and play off each other. We're not quite there exactly yet, where it's like the screen and the rescreen, but the pocket pass from Jalen Brunson to Cat has been great. I've seen that 4 or 5 times today. The pitch back pass from Jalen Brunson to Cat for the trailing 3 has been a backbreaker for us a few times today. And then you'll see Cat screaming for Brunson and Brunson getting into like a little pull-up midi. That's the type of action where it's like, if you can't score, we can just spam that in the playoffs. And I like seeing that come to fruition this game. And this is the best I've seen it, even though it manifests itself in a win. It's still the best I've seen it. And it's something we can build on moving forward. So that's something that I really enjoyed watching today. Now, I'm not going to ask Ryan G about anything positive because he has the demon red background. He's a snarl on his face. So I'm not even going to ask you that question. I'm going to Ryan G. What are the things that grinded your gears after watching today's game?
Ooh, well, there were numerous things. Number one, the turnovers. 20 turnovers, 24 points conceded off of turnovers. That makes it difficult to win. No matter how good your team is, you cannot turn over the ball at that rate and give up that many points off of turnovers. That's number one. Number two, the three-point defense was not there. The Clippers shot 46% from three-point range, hit 4 more threes than the Knicks. Again, if a team is knocking in more threes than you, and then on top of that, you turn over the ball, it's gonna be impossible to win the game. Those are things that are hard to overcome in a 48-minute stretch in a game. And then again, we have to go to certain players. They just didn't show up today. First and foremost, Mikal Bridges, straight cheeks, 7 points, 7 rebounds, 4 assists, 3 of 8 shooting from the field. There's a reason why he didn't play in the fourth quarter, because Mike Brown saw he was cheeks, kept him off the bench, put in Shaman instead for him, and that's when Knicks started to make their run towards the end of the game. Unfortunately, they weren't able to overcome because, again, there was just a bunch of stupid turnovers. Whether it was lack of attention to the game, or whether it was just bad passing.
Yeah,
there were just too many mistakes for the Knicks to overcome in this game. And of course, the bench didn't show up today. I mean, yeah, Shaman started to hit threes down the stretch, but dude shot 3 of 12 from the 3-point line, and it's like he only shot 3 today. And it's like, come on, my guy, you have to kind of mix it up a little bit. Like, if you know your shot's not there, take a dribble in, take a mid-range jumper, drive to the basket, see if you can get to the line. You have to mix it up a bit. You can't just shoot threes and they're not dropping for you. Alvarado, straight cheeks tonight. One of the worst players in the game tonight, off the bench. And again, like, I don't know why it took Mike Brown a long time to try Kolek. Although when Kolek was in the game, by that time it's the fourth quarter. The dude doesn't really have any type of rhythm whatsoever, so he wasn't even able to make an impact on the game. But you have to kind of notice when a player don't have it, he don't have it. Like, try something else, especially if your team is trying to battle down from behind. And
hold on. You letting off a lot. You letting off. We gotta address some of these things you said. We gotta address
shots in the chat.
The clip is full.
The chambers. Hold on.
Angry
Like,
Ryan's
wait,
best Ryan.
You.
He's saying, and your mom. Okay, wait. Wait. Does anybody
I know we play the Clippers, but
sheesh, exactly. We bought the clip for the Clippers.
Who's after first?
Does anybody want to build on anything he just said? Because he mentioned Mikal Bridges,
yes.
He mentioned turnovers, he mentioned a lot. He mentioned Jose, he mentioned a lot. Okay, yeah. Go ahead, Lee. You very vocal.
Ooh boy! All right, here we go. The Mikal Bridges trade's the worst trade in Knicks history.
Oh my
God! No, okay, no.
Now,
Andrea Bargnani exists. I'm sorry.
No. Let me clarify. That statement is that an already see Pits for Timmy typing out fear so his response on YouTube comment.
Get him, Timmy, get him.
What I mean for that specifically is not the player we got back, but the return that was outgoing. What we gave up. In the history of our organization, we are one of the oldest organizations. We have never given up a pick haul like we did for one single player. That was larger than the pick haul for Carmelo Anthony or any other singular player in the history of our franchise. That's what I mean. The outgoing, what we gave up and what we got back. The Mikal Bridges is the worst trade in New York Knicks history, because when you give up 5 picks, you're supposed to give up somebody to where you never have a night worrying about who's your number 2 option. You never have a player. That player should not be someone who's like, damn, is he going to be aggressive after a month? Or how many points he scored through a course of 2 or 3 games? Single digits? Those type of things are critical. That's very scary. Now, does he give defensive effort? Somewhat. I'm not really sure if he's best at guarding bigs or best at guarding smalls. I have a little misunderstanding of what his defensive matchup is right now. And he's not someone who I think turns a ball over a lot or gets cooked a lot in isolation. But he is somebody that you don't always know which version is going to show up, and he doesn't always play with heart. And to me, those are things that are really, really concerning for somebody that you gave up. The amount of picks that was supposed to be the last piece, right? The last domino of this core. You upgrade Randall with the position was already there. You upgrade with Cat, but we did not have the Bridges piece, and you gave up your pick haul for Bridges. And I think there was a mistake, and I'm just hoping that he ends up playing halfway decent enough for us to win shit.
Okay. When you say worst trade in Knicks history, okay, I'm older. Well, we're the same age, but there has been some Knicks trades.
Get him first. I got you after.
There has been some Knicks trades that have been abysmal that I can think of that have been worse than Antonio McDyess did not even play a regular season game, and we gave up Mark Jackson.
He was washed.
Marcus Camby.
He was young.
Exactly. Exactly. And picks. Wait, I don't remember how many picks.
2.
But
2.
I think not playing a game in the regular season while you give up young players it constitutes his worst pick.
You do Eddie Curry as well, and you do Andre Bardiani. I am talking about the magnitude of what was outgoing. I'm not talking about one washed vet and one young player, one protected pick and one unprotected. I'm talking about 5 unprotected picks. That is what I'm that is, and I don't think we were going to use all of those at once. I'm looking at more like how Dallas used 1 for Daniel Gafford, 1 for PJ Washington, right? You start building the core around your player and Jalen Brunson of guys that are worth that 1 pick, but give you 2-way play and a hierarchy and a totem pole of options. Bridges was brought here to be either the number 2 or number 3 option. And like Phil said, sometimes he's not even the 5th option. Tonight, he was at the 7th option. To me, that's unacceptable. So when I say the worst trade, I don't mean the worst player we got back. I mean what we gave up and what we got back for it was the most uneven, in my opinion, in franchise history.
I just don't agree with it. I'm not saying it was good.
I got a lot of
I'm just saying I just don't agree when there's those other trades out there.
That's fair.
Where he like when Cal actually helped us win the playoff series, and McDyess didn't even help us win a regular season game. I don't even compare the two. Go ahead. B.
Yeah, you know, I guys have a lot to say. I do want to start off with when someone is bad, they're bad. I'm not going to defend Mikal Bridges the last 2 games because it's hard to do so. However, I think in order to say that a trade was bad ever, worst trade ever, you have to wait until their tenure as a Knick finishes. Because again, we've seen a lot of trades set us back. I don't think Mikal set us back, despite the fact that we gave him so many picks. If we want to flip Mikal, we can get a player just as good, if not better, in return. We can still flip him and get something in return. We've also have won with Mikal. Since Mikal has been a Knick, we've got to the Eastern Conference Finals, and we're 3rd in the East. It's not like we've acquired Mikal and we're one of the bottom-feeding teams, or we're not even in contention for a championship like those other trades occurred. When we had those other trades, they either became a very poor organization or didn't even make the playoffs, let alone get to the Eastern Conference Finals. Because another trade that comes to mind is when we traded Pat Ewing. Pat Ewing is the only one outside of Walt and Clyde and those guys that got us to the finals. And ever since then, we've never even touched the finals, let alone Eastern Conference, because we gave up one of our one of our best players in Knick history. And I know at that time Pat was washed. Not going to say he wasn't, but we didn't get anything in return that let our level go up. We gave up 5 picks again to an organization. Why I always will continuously say F them picks to an organization that doesn't even draft well. I made a video on that recently. Their best player so far that they've drafted is the one that killed us today. So I'll give him a little bit of credit. He did kill us today in Brooke Lopez and maybe Kenyon Martin and a lot of you don't think of a lot of great Knicks players when you think of off the top of your head. It's very hard. You have to look it up sometimes. So if we're gonna give any picks, I'm very happy that we gave it to the Brooklyn Nets and didn't give it to an organization like maybe the Celtics or OKC or something like that. So if you're gonna give it, cool. Because again, since Mikal has been on our team, we haven't been an under 500 team. We have been in contention, and we have also seen him again in the postseason again. And for Phil to say that he was not even the 6th or 7th option today after OG, Mikal. After OG, Carl, and JB, maybe Diawara or Hart. Other than that, it was him. The numbers might not show it, but he was decent today. I think everybody else was really, really bad today outside of that. I know that we want to see him score. 7 points, 0 points is unacceptable. But he did play solid defense today. When he wasn't on the court, that's when Mathurin went off. I don't know if we remember that. Kawhi is going to be Kawhi. I'm not too much on OG for that. But he was containing Mathurin at some point. And he was playing Mathurin very well. And after Mathurin, he got off the court, and because he was stinking it up offensively, Mathurin started to go off. Garland started to go off. Those guys started to go off, and that's what didn't help us close out the game. So sometimes I'm a little bit questionable because his offense stinks so bad that we forget his defense's presence and how he can help us contain certain guys. But it's hard for me, again, to always say that Mikel's the worst trade ever because we haven't seen his full tenure as a Knick yet. We've only seen a year and a half, and in the year and a half, we're still contending. We're still top in the East. We also went to the Eastern Conference Finals, something that we haven't touched since Patrick Ewing. And Allen Houston and those guys. So I'm not mad at the trade. I'm not mad at the 5 picks. I still don't think that, like you stated, I don't think they draft anybody better than Diarra, let alone Mikal Bridges. I don't think that they get a better player just as that, which is why we have to see it plan out. Now, if they do, yes, we can then go back and say this is one of the worst picks ever. But for right now, their best player was Danny Wolf. That's who they drafted so far with the pick that we gave them. I'm okay with that. I can live with that. And we made the Eastern Conference Finals, and we're 3rd in the East. I'm okay with giving Mikal up for that because, again, I don't think in a 7-game series, especially 3 series, 4 possibly, hopefully we pray for, he's going to stink it up this bad. I have faith that he's going to do that because he already showed us that, not only on the Suns, but for us, that he will step up and he will make big plays in big games. We see that against one of the best teams, the Spurs, this year. So he has the Spurs number, and if we're going to see a team like that potentially in the finals, I like the way he plays against teams like that. I'm not too mad up against the Clippers and when he sticks it up against the Lakers. So I do want to just end with, it's hard to defend Mikal when the offense isn't flowing, but I don't want to disregard his defense's presence, and I don't want to disregard his rebounding today and his facilitation. He does take care of the ball. He isn't one of the reasons why we had a lot of turnovers today. And he just has to get to the free throw line. That's something that I just wanted to end with. I think the biggest issue with Mikal is he's not getting to the free throw line, and that's where I will talk negative on him. He has to be more aggressive, which is why when OG's stinking it up, it's hard to even say anything because at least he's continuously being aggressive. Mikal does not play aggressively, and it seems like he's playing less passionate because he's not being aggressively. I don't think that I ever saw a lack of effort from Mikal, which is hard for me to say that he doesn't care or he's playing with unenergized, because I always see he is always speaking very vocally on the bench, and he is also playing with a lot of passion. It's just hard to see that aggression when you're not driving to the basket and getting to the free throw line.
I feel like he wants to respond. I see the facial expression.
Okay, yeah. I didn't know if you don't let me. I appreciate that. I want to clarify. Now, picks have never been more important than they are right now as a draft asset, because under the new CBA, they allow you to have contracts that are so cheap where you can be a little top heavy and still have some room for to remain flexible. We gave all that up when we did that because now we have to depend on vet minimum contracts to fill out our roster. So we're really hoping that we hit on our Landry Shamet, because now we don't have those young players to be at the back end of the rotation that eventually grow into those starter roles or 6th or 7th man roles. So picks are more important now than they were in the Marcus Camby trade, or they were in even the Carmelo Anthony trade. Second, the other bad trades that happened during the course of a Knicks, they did not have the same consequence this one did. When we got Bargiani, when we got Melo, when we got Eddie Curry, when we got Antonio Medias, we weren't contending for a championship ever. Not when we got them, not after we got them. We were before we got Mikal Bridges, and we especially are now. So this is the most consequential trade as well. So that magnifies it. That also enhances how prominent it is on the list of most important trades in its history, which is why I view it through a tougher lens than I view any of the other ones. And I think if we failed to win a chip with this core, and I agree with B here, right? It has to be post-mortem, right? After this window is closed. 20 years from now, I think most Net fans would look back on that Bridges trade and be like, that's why we didn't win it. Because if you rank everything, right? The cat for Randall, billion around Jalen Brunson, that trade to me is the most consequential, and why we didn't, because we gave up all of our trade flexibility and all the ability to build cheaply to the back end of the roster through our great scouting department and role players. So to me, all of that is what I'm putting in, not just a hyperbolic, he sucks. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying the outgoing package was the biggest and most profound compared to what we got back, which is, as Phil said, a two-way role player a la Landry Shamet.
Yeah, I understand all that. I just don't agree.
I have a question. When we traded for Mikal, it was the fact that we were contending, which is why we made the move. So how can we be mad at the fact that we were trying to get someone who can fit? Because I believe that it's hard, even when he's very inconsistent, who else we were going to get that was Mikal Bridges caliber at the time?
That's a great question. And in my opinion, we should not have paid that Nets tax, because we were the only team that was going to have to spend that inflated amount of assets to get him. The other 28 teams in the NBA, I say 28 because the Nets were involved at 2 of 30. The other 28 would have paid a much lower threshold for Bridges than the Knicks, because that history, there's a lot of poison there between the two franchises. The two owners hate each other, and they knew that they're giving Jalen Brunson's best friend their teammate, and they also wanted their pit spat from a KD trade and Harden trades as well. So to me, I would have just done one pitch for a PJ Washington type guy, save the others, continue to draft, and keep them in the back pocket, and when a Giannis trade comes up. But I think Bridges was it was a wrong move. I still think, though, and I remain confident, we can still win with Mikal Bridges. But so many other things also have to go right. I just wish we wouldn't have paid that Nets tax and went after a player maybe like a KCP for one pick, or Dorian Finney-Smith for one pick, and then keep the rest of the picks for a bigger trade down the line.
That I can agree with. I'll just end with, I think the reason why those trades to me are a little bit worse, why I'm sticking with Jay, is because when you do make those kind of moves, that's what you want to get in return. And you don't want to continuously make moves where it keeps you stagnant. You don't want to, and that's what the issues that I have with the Knicks in the past. We were making moves that weren't making anybody come into our franchise and then upgrade it. It was like we were going to get worse or worser. It wasn't even like that we were going to get a little bit better or way better. It was like we traded these guys and we got really, really bad. So that's why, again, with the Mikal Bridge, I'm kind of still on the fence, and I do have to let it play out a little bit. Even after this season, I could give it a little bit of better take, because if he stinks it up in the post, I will say it on record, it's going to be hard for me to defend him still. It's going to be extremely hard, because this is what we brought you in for. But that's why, again, I'm not totally against it, because during the move that we made, and as it's panning out, it's hard, but we were trying to get someone to help us contend. In the past, we have not made moves it's like we'd rather had stayed stagnant, and that was very, very alarming, because this is why we're very upset. We've been a franchise that is dying for a championship, and the fact that after the Pat era, even when we acquired somebody like Melo, we weren't trying to build a roster around him. So the fact that we got a superstar finally and we're trying to build a roster, that's why I'm not too upset about it.
I feel like depending on what happens in the end of the season, it might be looked at as maybe the worst Leon Rose move.
For sure.
But it really depends on.
That's a good way to say it, Jay. I could agree to that.
Yeah, but it depends.
Is that?
Yeah, it depends on. It depends on. It depends on how everything shakes out. Like I said, I've always
get a Hall of Famer, then it's hard to.
Yeah, I've always said, if we win a championship, and he helps us win a championship, no one's going to care as much.
Yeah.
I agree with that too. I think we can win a championship, even with me saying that it's the worst trade in Knicks history. I still think we can win a championship despite it, because our team is so talented.
I think if we win a championship with him, I don't think you can then say he's the worst trade in Knicks history.
I agree. Yeah, because then the evidence will change. Yeah. He would have to be a big part of that too if we win a championship.
But I still feel personally, like the guy who didn't contribute anything to the season is still the worst than like the guy who helped us win the playoff series.
Who's that? Who's the one who hasn't helped us do anything this season?
Oh, McDice. He got injured in preseason. I mean, in the trade.
You guys don't think the KP trade was pretty bad too?
No,
No,
Okay.
Nah, that wasn't a bad trade.
it
it's
wasn't.
not on the top 5 list.
Yeah, it's not on the top 5 list. Kind of maybe could have gotten more in hindsight, but it wasn't. It wasn't necessarily.
Right. We didn't know. Yeah.
worse.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will say this though. I don't know if this is a hot take or not, but regarding Mikal Bridges, I do see where Lee is coming from. But again, like I don't think I fully agree with him being the worst trade per se. But I do agree from the standpoint of when you do give up 4 or 5 picks for a player, you are expecting a top tier player. When you give up 4 to 5 picks, I mean, in most cases, when you give up 4 or 5 picks, especially with 4 or 5 being unprotected, you're pretty much expecting a superstar type of you're pretty much expecting a superstar level type of player, and Bridges is nowhere near that. So I could definitely understand it from that standpoint of like he's way underperforming the price tag that Leon Rose paid to the Nets to bring him in. But here, I think this is my quote unquote hot take. I don't even know if it's a hot take for real, but if I'm the Knicks, whether the Knicks win a championship or not this season, if Mikal Bridges performs well in the playoffs, when the offseason comes, I'm going to sell high on him.
100%.
And bring in somebody who I think is going to be a better fit, where I can get more consistent performances out of them going into next season.
Totally agree.
Hot take. Yo, Cully. I feel like Cully. Yo, you used to be a regular here, Cully. I haven't seen you in a minute. I forgot about this trade. This was a bad one.
Gave Cavs a championship.
Yeah, but also we gave them Shump and JR, and we attached picks. That's what made it. We attached picks.
Not first.
No, I think we attached like 2 seconds, I believe.
But that trade was of no consequence. We were rebuilding at that time. That didn't like hold us back from anything.
Right, but we
hold us back from a chip.
But I don't think you had to attach picks to get
for sure.
To move JR and Shump.
Phil was an idiot. Phil destroyed the team for sure.
That was. I thought you would get like we got back. I don't remember who we got back, but I thought it was bums.
Was it Lua Munson?
Yeah, it was the wait. We gave up a six man of the year guy and Shump, who was like a defensive demon for pieces, and we gave up second rounders with it. That was Phil was on drugs.
He was.
He was. Yeah.
I think it was personal with Phil. I think he personally wanted to go on the Knicks.
Yeah, you might be right. That might have been a Melo hate thing, Melo hate trade or something.
Yeah.
Let's move on though. Let's move on to certain other things we want to talk about. The bench points. The bench points have been an issue for the last couple of games. Bench points. We got 11 points today from the bench. Jose Alvarado.
Trash.
Woo.
Bench.
The big offseason trade. The guy who we benched out of the Colic floor. The guy who's supposed to help us get over the hump. He has struggled in this LA trip. When we're looking at the minutes distribution from the Knicks, high minutes from Brunson in these last 2 games. Brunson 38 minutes tonight. Last night, he played 2 straight quarters. And a big reason for that was the coach was not trusting the bench, and Jose Alvarado was just that bad. He couldn't even get us into the offense yesterday, and today he seemed like he was just kind of running all over the place and kind of helter-skelter, which kind of it reopened the door for other bench players who've been banished to the shadow realm in Tyler Kolick and Jordan Clarkson. So I don't know what's going on, but I want to get your thoughts on the bench and maybe Jose Alvarado in particular. Are you guys concerned long term about him, or is this like a blip for you guys?
Well, me personally, I see it as a blip. I'm not really concerned long term per se, because with Alvarado, it's pretty much erratic play. You know what I mean? Like, he's gonna have his games where he's gonna perform well off the bench, where he's gonna hit his shots, be a demon defensively, create turnovers and things of that nature. And you're gonna get games like this where he just doesn't really show up. And I mean, to be real about it, this LA trip is more than just Alvarado not playing bad. It's players just not showing up in both LA games. Matter of fact. So, I mean, you could look at this. You could look at this as a whole and be like, you're gonna have blips. You're gonna have bad games. That doesn't mean that this player is gonna be detrimental to the team going forward. You know what I mean? It's just a couple of bad games. You expect them to recover and play well later on, throughout the season. But at the same time, it's like, what the hell were the Knicks doing this whole LA trip? Because like I said, it's not just Jose Alvarado. It's like numerous players just didn't show up, and they didn't show up against the Lakers, and they didn't show up tonight against the Clippers. So I mean, it's hard for me to just pinpoint one player and be like, yeah, this player is disappointing, and it's going to be concerning going forward. But with Alvarado, I just think it's a blip. I do expect him to play better going forward. But yeah, these 2 games in LA were bad. They were terrible.
I'm not concerned. The reason why guys like Sham and Jose don't get too much slack is because of the price. We gave up Yabusele for Jose. I'm okay with that. We have Shamit on the min. I'm okay with that. So when they have nights like this, it's kind of hard to bash them so much because the price is so high, which is why we have been so hard on Mikal and Towns. Their price is extremely high. The 5 picks, the $50+ million contract. Guys have to show up. Again, you don't hire a chef and get Chef Boyardee. It's not, you want caviar, you want steak, you want all that good stuff. So I'm not so mad about Jose. The only thing I'm mad about is the same way I could give Mike Brown credit with benching players when they're playing terrible in the fourth, he has to also realize they're terrible in the second and first and get guys in quicker. So I agree with that with that quote that Jose was thinking it up in the first. I don't know why Tyler didn't come in the second and third and you waited until the end of the third and the fourth to put Tyler in. I don't understand when Shamit goes 0 for 6. You continue to, yes, he did pick it up, but he was 0 for 6 until the end of the third and the fourth quarter. I don't know where you didn't get Clarkson going when he showed in the last game that he's fully capable of still coming off the bench and getting points in. So that's my only knock on that. I think that when Lee said in one of the last shows that we have a deep bench, we have to use it. We don't have a deep bench just to say that we have one. We have to say it and we have to actually use it. And I think that was one of the biggest issues last year. We didn't use how many people that we had because we didn't have them. Now we do, and I don't understand why we're not using it in certain games. So when a guy goes 0 for 6 and you're still sitting Clarkson, even though defensively, I know you guys
you already know I'm like, I don't
speaking
know.
on that,
Put the Diawara in.
but we needed the offense clearly today. We needed offense today more than the defense because there was a lot of shots that if we would have made them, it could have went in. I think that's where Clarkson could have contributed. And I think Jose's just overall is not in the flow of things. But he's also, I believe, he still hasn't played 20+ games with us. He's only played it's still been a low amount of games with us. So I think he'll figure it out. He's always been a great player. As far as unproblematic, does his job, works hard. So a guy like that, I don't have too much concerns about. Same thing with Shamit. They're hard workers. They're smart guys. I don't think that they're going to continue to stink it up. So it's nothing to be concerned about.
I'll start with the positive. Muhammad Diawara, 5 points, 4 rebounds. Impressive individual defense in most of his minutes. Love the minutes he shares with the starters or like 3 or 4 of his starters. He's got good footwork, both on offense and defense, and I thought he did a pretty good job staying in front of his man when he was switched on guards or wings. Overall, fairly impressive. Kind of thought he, in some instances, he had some of the best looks defending Brook Lopez. Would have liked to see even more defense, more minutes from Muhammad Diawara. I was in the group chat starting the second quarter, calling for Tyler Kolek to come in the game ASAP. So I thought that Kolek should have come in before Clarkson. I do not think Clarkson should have played this game because we needed our offense to be organized. And why do we need that? Because Jose Alvarado is absolute ass cheats. I have some very esteemed people in this community have made a case for Leon Madon to win Executive of the Year. Hell no. Absolutely not. This has been one of his worst overall seasons. You cannot give him credit for fixing massive mistakes. The Yabusele was a massive mistake. Clarkson was a massive mistake. Both of those were moves at the time I loved. I was wrong on both of those moves. But Alvarado has been cheats. Am I worried? I am worried. I think Tyler Kolek should take his spot in the rotation for 4 to 5 games. Bench Alvarado's sorry ass. Put him at the end of the bench. Give Tyler Kolek those minutes and say, look, we're going to the playoffs. This is the battle. I don't care about practice. Show me what you have, Kolek, in a 4 or 5 game stretch. We're going on the road, playing some pretty crappy teams. Let me see you organize the offense, get some good assists, and get guys who need help get into their rhythm, like Bridges, like Shamit, get those guys going, and then we'll talk about maybe keeping you in the rotation, moving to the playoffs. Alvarado's defense has been absolute ass. His playmaking, he's on ball too much. It's at the worst of Brunson and none of it good. He dribbles too much. He stays on ball too much. He misses reads too much. He's not pushing the pace that I wanted him to in order for us to increase the speed and get out in transition. That yes, does he have vision? Does he have effort? Yes, but does it come into play in real time reads for his teammates outside of Karl-Anthony Towns? I would say no. When we did the half court sets, he's a wrong guy for that role. I would much rather have Tyler Tollett, whose processing speed seems to be higher and whose playmaking seems to be better. So these are just my opinions. Arrow Hotporty, not horrible, but so mid. It's just like just plays Sohan at the 5. Why do we have to see Arrow Hotporty minutes? He's not it. He ain't gonna be here next year. So just move off his ass and play Sohan and see if he's worth retaining in the offseason and see what we can give you. Right? I'm not bashing Hotporty. I am bashing Alvarado, and I'm bashing Landry Shitmit because he was absolutely cheap as well. Breaking 3 of 12 from 3. This is the one thing you do, bro. I don't care about your mid-range game or driving to the hoops. Totally can't attack a closeout. You're a vet. You should by now. But we brought you in here to help space the offense. Stop making people be able to sag off you and double on Brunson, double on Cat. It kills our offensive flow, and it negates any positives that you bring to the floor on the defensive end. So to me, if Shamit's not hitting, the paint gets even more clogged, and he's useless on offense. So yeah, the bench was absolutely cheats. Should have went to Kolek because the one, as the practice says, the Tylenol to all of these effects on the bench is having someone who organizes the offense, who can actually find you when you're open and get you the ball in your sweet spot in the shooter where you catch the ball easily and flow, whether you're a movement shooter like Shamit or someone who's catch and shoot like Diawara. So play Kolek. That's it. Just play Kolek.
I got to shoot Alvarado some bail here. I got to. I'm sorry. I have to. It is way too soon.
Yeah.
Way too soon to say bench Alvarado. Like, extremely. He's been here for what? Has he been here for 10 games yet?
That's why I'm like, I don't think
Not even sure.
I don't even think he's been here for 10 games yet. And he's had, okay, it's a back-to-back. He had a bad game. He has a mixed bag. I think he's had like 5 good games and 5 bad games.
Yeah, 50-50. He's been very 6-7.
Yeah, he's been like 50-50. Like he's turned some games from us. He's been bad some games for us. I feel like it's been like a 50-50 stretch in like a 10-game stretch. I remember when we traded for was it Bogdanovic one year?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Bogdanovic. Yeah,
Bogdanovic. He was cheeks for like 20 games, and then all of a sudden he started hitting shots, and I was like, "Oh my god!" and then he looked like he was about to do something for us in the playoffs and got hurt. But the point is, I think we gotta give more than 10 games, especially when it's not been like all bad 10 games. It's been like good, bad, good, bad, good, bad. I think we got to give him more than 10 games to be like, this is the worst move that Leon Rose has ever made. And like,
I don't think he said that, but
no, he said. Wait, what you said? You said it was the worst.
He's pretty much saying like he shouldn't get much credit for cleaning up the Yabusele mess with the
right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna take the same approach. It's about the playoffs. Like you doing all this stuff here right now. If he helps us win in the playoffs, then that move is gonna look different. This is still a regular season, so I think you have to pull back and look at that. Look at it as a whole. Now, when it comes to Tyler Kolek, I do agree. If things are going awry earlier, bring in Tyler Kolek. I agree with that. You already know me with the Clarkson thing. I would put in Tyler Kolek before Clarkson. I just be, but that's how I see it right now. I think we have to keep playing Jose. I do agree though, he's been dribbling too much sometimes. I feel like he's trying to push the pace, but with certain teams, especially the Clippers, they scout us, man. Like clearly. The Clippers and the Lakers both scouted that damn corner 3. They know we're the top corner 3-point shooters in the NBA. So what we do is we'll push the pace, go deep into the paint, and when there's no pass, our last release valve is the corner 3, and they're already waiting there for the steal. I've seen both the Clippers and the Lakers done that. And so we have to kind of adjust. And I feel like Jose was guilty of doing that too, and that's how he got in trouble. On the other side of the ball, when there was no other play available, when he's trying to run the half court set and there was no passes to be made, he would shoot this ridiculous 3-point shot from 3 feet behind the 3-point line, and it cooked us. It cooked us in the Laker game and cooked us in the Clippers game. So he has to clean that up too. But overall, I still feel like we have to let him get some runway. But I also feel like we need to have Tyler Kolek back in good graces if he goes awry a lot sooner.
Well, that's where the coaching comes into play, because I think that's all the issue that's happening with Jose. It just should have been an adjustment made early on in the game. That's all. That's the only thing with the coaching was the issue today, because we do have to give credit to Tyronn Lue today. He did play a really good game. He coached very well. He made great adjustments. He had great defensive settings on Jalen Brunson. From having Jones on him to Dunn, they were giving, despite JB still getting the 28 points, because JB is another one like Kawhi, they're going to get theirs. But they made it very difficult for Jalen Brunson today, and I think it was because of the matches he was putting on Jalen Brunson with Dunn and Jones, switching them back and forth in between. And that's the only the issue that I have with Brown. He does do things really good, and it's kind of the season with the Knicks. Things are really good or really bad. It's very rare that we have seen mediocre or we've seen, okay, I can live with this. We only see them maybe a couple times this year. Other than that, we're either like this, feeling like what the heck, or we're kind of really, really high and we're getting motivated. And that's, again, how I feel today about Brown, because he's been coaching amazing the past few games. And then you have the game like the Lakers and the Clippers, and you're questioning, where are some of these subs? Why are some of these matchups occurring? And what are you doing? And that's all I have with the Jose take. I think it's not necessarily Jose's fault. I think that he's being misplayed with really bad lineups too. There was a point where it was Jose, Clarkson, and Hart, I believe. I couldn't be over exaggerating, but like, why do you have those three on the court at the same time? How is anybody going to get going? So I think more so the lineups early on in the game. I like how Brown is closing the games, but when you're playing from behind and you're starting off slow, it doesn't really matter what you're doing at the end of the games. You kind of got to get these things flowing. So I think Jose hasn't been used correctly yet, and once we figure it out, I'm not too concerned, because I think he'll get it together.
I want to shout out my hater in the chat. Definitely triggered this guy, girl. I'm not sure what it is, but he's apparently very emotional about what I said, and I stand by it, because Jose Alvarado's bum ass is, I believe, 0 for 8 from 3 in the last 5 games, has not made a 3 in 5 games. 0 for 8. Now, I know sometimes I can say things, and people in the chat, and even sometimes the panel, J. Ellis especially, can hear like one part of it, and they're like, "What the f?" let me make sure Lee's not crazy, jump out the window. I said bench him for 4 or 5 games, not bench him totally and take him out the rotation. But I do think as an end of the rotation, into the bench guy, those guys, they're not Brunson or Cat. You can remove them from the rotation and try someone else for a couple of game stretch and see if they're giving you something that helps the rest of the teammates and the players are sharing the court with in their minutes. To me, I think Kolek is an upgrade over Alvarado in just about everything but defense. So let's see if our defense, which is now number 1 in the NBA since the All-Star break, let's see if that shell can sustain someone a net negative like Kolek, and see if Kolek can help everybody else by getting them pocket passes. That was the phrase I was looking for. The predicate shout out in the chat. See if they can get them better shots in the pocket pass to be able to get good looks from open threes when they're there, because I think he's better at reading the floor than Alvarado.
Yeah, I will say too about B's point about the lineup being funky.
Yeah.
This is what makes Josh Hart so hard sometimes.
Oh.
Hey
yo. So hard to scheme with.
What makes him so hard?
So hard to scheme with. Thanks, Matt. Thanks.
We gotta laugh a little through the pain.
So hard to scheme with, because like the most playable lineup he can play with is the starting lineup, because there's more shooters. And in the moment when you're like, oh, let's put him on the bench, then you look at the bench and it's like, oh wait, there's even less shooters on the bench. It gets even harder to like, okay, where the hell do you put this guy sometimes? So it's like the people who are like bench Josh Hart, or take him out sometimes, which I'll be saying sometimes as well. Okay, cool. You take him out, you put all the shooters in the starting lineup, and then you put it in with other guys who can't shoot, and it exacerbates the problem. So it's like there is no solution to where to play Josh Hart except Josh Hart has to shoot better. That's pretty much. But yeah. And shout out to Diawara for that dunk. That's all I gotta say. The first dunk of the season. Frenchman on Frenchman crime. Okay, Batum He's been crying in his French fries after that dunk. All right.
No.
To end on that though, with the coaching, that's what the other questionable move that I have. It seems like every time Dewar goes on these nice spurts, he gets benched again, and that
Agreed.
always confuses
Yeah.
me. Like
Agreed.
he had a nice 3-pointer, a nice dunk, he had some good defensive plays, and then boom, you take him out of the game. Like that's been very annoying and very confusing.
It's the trust thing. I still feel like they trust him to do things for 3 quarters, but they never trust him to close. I think that's
only way you know if you try.
Yeah, because at the end of the day, I feel like they had a shot to go with Shamit and Diawara instead of Hart, and he didn't. I mean, to Mike Brown's defense, it's hard to actually play decent in the fourth quarter for the first time in like how many games. So I can't necessarily say it was the wrong move. But I understand the sentiment of playing DR in the fourth quarter for sure, because he was a monster.
Yeah, because I didn't understand it as well, because towards the end of the third quarter, the Knicks began to play better. I think it started with DR when he got that dunk on Batum. Then momentum started to switch. And so it's like, and here's my thing. I know that because I know Brunson was a part of the lineup. I know Mike Brown usually benches Brunson at the beginning of the fourth quarter and things of that nature. But I'm like, okay, if you're down in the game and you see that this lineup is working, like this lineup is getting you back in the game, I understand you want to, bench Brunson, bring him back later in the game and get him rested. But sometimes I feel like, if the rotation requires, if based on how the game is going, if it requires you to switch up the rotation a bit for you to come back into the game, I'm for it. Because it's like, why not bring in that same lineup into the fourth quarter and see if they could close out and see if they could close the lead more and more? Like, why are you gonna bench guys all of a sudden, bring in other guys in the fourth quarter? Because to me, that breaks momentum. Because the guys who brought you back in the game, now these guys are on the bench. You're bringing in, other guys to come into the game, and you're expecting them to keep that same momentum. So I understand Mike Brown's rotations and what he tries to do, but I felt like that lineup at the end of the third quarter should have started the fourth quarter and see if they could continue that momentum going forward. And then afterwards, okay, you bench Jalen Brunson, you get him his, couple of minutes of rest, and you bring him back later on in the game, or do whatever other, rotations you want to do.
I think it was last night. I think it's because he played a back-to-back, and he ended up playing Brunson the entire third and entire fourth quarter last night. Brunson looked like entire cheeks in the fourth quarter. So I think that's maybe what he was thinking in the back of his mind. Not that it helped, because the fourth quarter today, Brunson also was like, I was like, this is one of those games where I'm just like, man, I'm used to seeing Brunson put the cape on in the fourth quarter and make good reads. The reason why he's been one of my favorite players is because in crunch time, he might make mistakes, but he usually doesn't make like multiple mistakes in a row. You know what I mean? He usually doesn't make like, a turnover, another turnover, a bad shot. And that's kind of what's been happening on this road trip. So, and Brunson, I don't know, man. The team collectively, I feel like, are they suffering from like mental fatigue or something? I don't know. But Brunson in particular in the fourth quarter, he just has to be better.
I think it was just solely the defense on him today. I don't think it was about anything else too.
Speaking of the starting five, I don't know if you guys know Xavier J Designs. He's part of Hot Hand Theories, probably one of the smarter Knicks fans on Twitter. He said that the Knicks starting lineup has not had a positive net rating in a single game in the past 8 games, despite beating Milwaukee by 29, Spurs by 25, Toronto by 16, Denver by 39. That starting lineup total has been a negative 18 over 193 possessions. Tonight, the Knicks lost by 9. The starters lost their 13 combined minutes together. We lost by 8. And the starters lost their combined minutes by 9. So I do think that there's a very strong argument to close with Hart, but not start with Hart, and perhaps start Landry Shamet in that spot. Again, I know I can already hear Pittsburgh Timmy put it on his keyboard. And then what else who disagrees with moving Josh Hart, but I just think it would help. It's that if you have 2 eyes, you can see every single game we start out behind, including because of how clunky the offensive spacing is and how long it takes for guys to get into rhythm.
Yep.
Yeah, it was the same thing last season. It's a carbon copy of what was been happening last season, man. Exact same thing happened last season that started the should we start Josh Hart off the bench thing. That's why we been saying all off season. We've been saying it. Should we start Josh Hart? We said no, we shouldn't. Then he went off, and everybody was like, "We're sorry, Josh Hart. We were wrong. You shooting threes. You the best. You playing defense." Then he just is right back to the business as usual. Right after All-Star break again. It's just this is a never-ending loop.
That's why again I agree with Lee. He has to end. He can end games. He cannot start games. I don't have no problem with Josh ending the game because he did come up with I do want to give him his credit too because we haven't been able to do that recently, especially since the All-Star break. He did have a lot of clutch rebounds for us.
He did
a lot of offensive rebounds. Where again we wish we had Mitch, but we didn't, and that's something that we missed from Mitch specifically when he's not playing. So when Hart could come in and be that's great. But I know this is going to be frowned upon, and I do want to make it a little hot right now since we.
Here we go. No more. It's 2 a.m. Nobody watching.
Yeah, let's do it. I understand it's Mikal this and maybe Carl that and OG. That's who we would have to get rid of first if it all fails. And I know it sucks because it's Josh Hart and he's done a lot. But the fact that you don't know if you should start him or even you can consider taking him off the bench with certain people, that's a big problem. At least with Mikal, even if we put him on the bench, you can at least use him off the bench with whoever because his defensive ability and the fact that, now he's the number one option off the bench, that would be great. He can't be the number one option with Towns, OG, and Jalen Brunson on the court. You just can't, especially with Hart. Like, you can't depend on Mikal so much for that. I think his contract is okay when he's playing great, but when he's playing like he has been inconsistently, it's hard to keep that contract and not see what else we can get out there. I think that he is a guy that we can possibly get something in return just as well. And I know a lot of people aren't that, but we've seen it many times over and over where you get rid of your guy, the main guy, the heart or whatever people may call it. And because it's hard, it's easy to say your heart of your team. And they win sometimes. And I think that I don't see how the Knicks can't have that same trend. But to me, that would be the first person that goes into offseason if we don't make the goal, because it's kind of a broken record now. I hate that people say, oh, all of a sudden we lose now, don't start Josh Hart. Again, like Lee said, if you have eyes, you would have saw during the Pacers series last year that Josh Hart shouldn't start, not because of this year and we're losing games right now. Last year in the Pacers series was the biggest eye-opener for me where I said, yeah, no, we cannot come into the season with the same starting lineup if we want to be serious and win it all. And the fact that right now this team is not constructed where he could come off possibly the bench with those guys, it's going to be hard to see us get to the glory with this type of play if he's not going to shoot the ball well and people are going to keep sagging off of him. I know he has moments where he hits those big threes and he gets those putbacks and he rebounds so well, but it's not consistent just as much as Mikal.
I'm gonna have a picture of B pushing Josh Hart under a bus to save Mikal.
Pushing both on the bus.
Mikal could get something in return. I do agree with that. Him and Mikal could get us a little something. We'll see.
Oh my gosh. You know what it is about Josh Hart? Josh Hart is I'm gonna channel my inner Ebony. Shout out to Ebony. Josh Hart is a rhythm player. Like, I feel like he's more likely to hit threes once he runs up and down the court and gets like fast breaks and gets layups and things like that. But the teams have been kind of scheming him to just shoot standstill 3-pointers to start the game, and that's not his game. His game is more running and moving and cutting and stuff. Like, he's more likely to hit threes once he hits a few buckets in transition or something. That's why I feel like in the fourth quarter he'll start to hit some threes all of a sudden because he ran around and did some things.
He did have a big three today, yeah. He did.
Yeah. So it's like maybe he'll be more apt to run around off the bench and then get into rhythm and then shoot threes later. But yeah, I understand the frustrations. Josh Hart for sure. All right. Anything else you want to mention today?
No, we sucked.
We sucked.
Yeah, pretty much.
And it's just the three. The three ball is very concerning to me. I did talk about that in Dexter. Fritz could put that in there. Definitely check that episode out. That's my biggest concern. We cannot guard the three, and we cannot rely on the three. And how we going to? I still believe I don't let bad games they happen. I don't get so high on the wins and so low on the losses. that's just going to be the biggest concern to me, especially in these next 17, 16 games I believe we have now. If we can't figure out how to guard the three ball, which is another thing that was an issue last year, and we can't rely on hitting the three ball, how the hell do we expect to get to the finals? I don't know. Especially if you're not going to drive to the rim and get to the free throw line, guys, and be consistent from the free throw line. So that's just my biggest concern. We have to guard the three better. We let Jones go off, Lopez go off. Those are guys that, even if you had Leonard and Garland play their game, it didn't help that they have both had 16 points each. Why is Lopez getting 16 points, almost 20 points against us at this level in his career? No knock to him, but we had to guard him better. We left him open multiple times. And I don't think even Mitch stops that. The same way in the OKC game. There's certain things that we would like to see if Mitch played. What if? It's always going to be a big thing. But I don't think that Mitch stops the fact that Lopez went off from the three-point line today. Neither did Derek Jones.
It depends. Like, I think people, I said in the chat too, I feel like we just didn't do a good job guarding screen and rolls all day. And that helped open up threes. Also, I feel like the guys who drove on us put a lot of pressure on our help defense to really just kind of get deep in the paint to stop the drives, and to the point where it was a tall task recovering to Josh Hart a lot for sure. So I feel like, and our rotations weren't always that good either. Like, I feel like our rotations on 3-point shots were just spotty. Like, sometimes they were good, but it wasn't consistent play. So I just think all over, we weren't looking like the top 5 defensive team that we've been over the last few weeks. We look like a step slow, whether it be a mental thing or maybe we're tired. I don't know, but we have to clean that up. As much as the offense did bother us today, I do feel like our defense was a concern for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's it, though.
Clarkson on Hart's crazy.
That's all I got to say, man. I feel like everybody might want to go to sleep now. It's 2 a.m.
This sucks because we really could have just to end that. We really could have won the Cavs, Lakers, and Clippers game, and it was simply because we could not guard or make 3-pointers.
Right.
Nah.
But shout out to the chat though. I don't know, y'all West Coast people watching or something, because this is a good amount of y'all in here. I think like 35 to 40 people in the YouTube chat, and there's 100 people watching on Twitter. So somebody's awake.
Facts.
Somebody's awake at 2 a.m. watching us talk with Knicks. If you are, man, and you like what we're talking, hit that like, hit that subscribe. We're here after every game talking Knicks basketball. And so if you want to vent, you want to talk Knicks basketball after the game is over and get your little comments on the screen, definitely subscribe on the YouTube channel for sure. All right. Especially you 100 people watching on Twitter. All right, yeah, we trying to get the subscribers up. So if you want to come over to YouTube, also everybody share, man. Share. You can share the stream on Twitter, share on YouTube, share. Let us people know that we here talking Knicks basketball. But shout out to Randu, shout out to Blow Bros, shout out to Andy Grill, shout out to the Predicate, shout out to Slum Stackman. I feel like this is like the 2 a.m. crew. People I really don't usually see during the regular post game. I'm seeing 2 a.m. Shout out to 2 a.m. crew.
That's a crazy profile picture below.
Late night hive.
I don't know what that profile picture is. That is, it's bugging me out right now, bro. I don't know what's going on in that image. Man.
Hey now, hey. It's family show, okay? All right.
That is wild.
The image is crazy. The image is crazy.
That's my face after watching Mikal Bridges for 4 quarters, man. Unbelievable.
Oh man.
He's gonna sock you one day.
He was bad today.
He's gonna uppercut you, really.
Right here, B.
Sure, you can.
I agree. 7 points in 2 games and on a $30 million contract. I agree, guys. I agree.
Yeah, man. Knicks Nation and Phil Porter too, man. Shout out to you guys for rocking with us.
Okay.
All right.
Halloween costume. That's it.
All right. Any bruh picks today?
Yeah, I got one bruh pick. My bruh pick goes to the Atlanta Hawks.
Bruh.
I don't know if you heard, but Atlanta Hawks and the Atlanta Magic are supposed to play each other upcoming. I forgot the date. So for that game, they were holding a promotion, Magic City Night. As you know, Magic City is a strip club in Atlanta, very popular strip club. and they were going to hold a promotion for a strip club at an NBA game. So Adam Silver caught wind of this. And he was like, "Oh hell no, y'all ain't gonna have no damn promotion for no damn strip club in my damn NBA. Hell no." So Adam Silver shut it down. He was like, "Nope, we not gonna let this happen." And yeah, I mean, look,
how does that even come about without Adam Silver knowing in the first place?
Because does Adam Silver don't know what freaking Magic City is? He just seen Magic City like, okay, Magic is he doesn't know what that is.
Or does he?
I mean,
things that make you go ew.
Yo, for all we know,
like Atlanta's a part of the NBA. They would have had to run it through him in the first place to get it even promoted, correct? Or
what happened?
Because Atlanta can't just say we're going to promote this without it going through him in the first place, correct?
Maybe, but if the people on top don't even know what Magic City is, they just see.
They probably thought it was something like from Disney World or something.
Yeah, they're like, oh, that's cute, Magic
like,
in the city.
Whoa.
Yeah.
I mean, hey, for all we know, maybe Adam Silver like some cheeks jiggling his face. For all we know, we don't know.
He needs to then come to the Knicks. There's a whole lot of cheeks over there.
All right, yo, Lee in Texas. I already know. I heard about Texas.
Hashtag sneaky link. Let's go.
Yeah, I'm done.
I've been to Houston. I know about Texas too. I've been to Houston.
Oh shoot!
Lord have mercy.
Oh, God, glasses fogging up.
It's definitely a 2 p.m. pod. It's KOT after dark right
not
now.
KOT after dark. Oh my God!
Uncut.
Uncut KOT.
Oh Lord! All right.
Oh man!
Let's get off this before we get canceled. All right.
Must be your ass because it's not your face. I need a tip, Drew.
Oh. Woo, all right. Any more bro picks?
OG and Obi got absolutely cooked by Kawhi Leonard. I want to shout out to Pratchett for that little dribble shake off move that Kawhi put on him. But the whole game, I thought OG. It was absolute terrible defense, man. It was kind of
I'm not even gonna say it was terrible defense.
That's what's
it's just better offense. I think it was just better offense.
That's freaking Kawhi. That was a hell of a move, though. That was I can't say. Oh, OG. That was Kawhi freaking Leonard, bro.
Yes. Both games against the Clippers this year, Kawhi cooked them. So it is.
But it's Kawhi Leonard, though. It's
he's just injury prone, so people forget. But he always reminds.
I think sometimes the offensive player is just that nice. It's not bad defense. Sometimes the offensive player is just that damn nice.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's not players who get cooked by him.
Yeah, but I think the thing that I'm surprised the most is I'm not surprised at Kawhi getting points off of OG. I think I was more surprised with Kawhi bullying OG because OG is pretty strong, and the way Kawhi was manhandling him in the game, I was like, damn.
No, Kawhi is freakishly strong.
Yeah,
he's not no chump, and his leg, and he's like a strong base too. So his legs are big. Kawhi Leonard is a bully, dog. He's been a bully. He's been a bully his whole career. This is not new. This is why people thought the Clippers were going to win a championship for so many years. When he was paired up with Paul George, he just keeps getting injured.
Yeah.
But he does this.
Yeah. Yeah. He was one of the top 75 players in the NBA, right? He got
definitely.
I would take him on the Knicks today if I knew he's going to play more than 60 games.
Cut the show off. The show off.
Man.
Shout out Knit Nation saying salute, love the vibes y'all have. Listen, man, we got great chemistry on the show. It's because we talk all day, every day in the group chat, roasting each other, arguing over stuff, having long diatribes about just about everything in the world. Yes, we're a very strong crew here for sure.
Yes.
That's a fact. I don't know if there's any crew as tight as ours.
I just have a quick bro pick.
It was good.
My bro pick actually goes out to the Knicks. Actually, I want to say give it to Stephen A. Smith, but I sometimes see why he goes on his rants. Because the bro pick goes out to the Knicks. How can you beat a Denver team, a San Antonio Spurs team, and then you go on the road to both LA teams and play like this? It's hard. The consistency is getting annoying at this point. The picking and choosing when we decide we want to show up is getting really annoying at this point. And I can see why sometimes Stephen A. Smith is able to go on his shows and say the things that he says about our teams. Because I did want to give him the broad pick, but then I was like, well, I got to see how he plays today. And then I see exactly why he said what he said, and it could be concerning to some people. So I don't lose my faith. I think that we have a whole season. We still have 17 games to finish out, and we still have a whole postseason run to go on before I can sit back and say, yeah, we have no chance. But how we keep beating these really good teams and then to lose to mediocre teams is very questionable and it's very annoying. And I just can't stand it anymore, bro. I cannot.
I definitely think we can still win a chip. I'm with you, B. I think the championship window is still there.
Yeah.
This loss, the later loss, doesn't make me any less confident in winning a chip. But for us to win a chip, many things have to go right that we haven't seen go right at the same rate that we would need it to win.
Yeah. Phil, by the way, I would take that trade. I won't even lie to you. I won't even lie to you.
Yeah, do some witchcraft on his legs and whatever, and hopefully
you guys said it. You guys were saying we have one of the best medical staff, so let's take it. Let's do it.
100%. I said the deadline. I wanted it.
If that was the price, yes.
Yeah.
if that was the price,
Yeah, I agree.
Deuce.
Probably would. But yeah, that might be a Toronto situation. That's why Toronto traded it. It was like Toronto was like, we gonna trade everything and just pray he stay. He's that good.
That was his fault though. He did Toronto dirty more than Toronto did him dirty.
No one told Toronto to trade for him without any freaking guarantees. Toronto knew there was a chance he was gonna bail. I mean, at least he got a ring out of it.
By the way, I did want to say that on record too. I did want Chris Dunn over Jose Alvarado, and I'm so mad we didn't freaking get Chris Dunn over Jose. But whatever.
I don't think Dunn was available.
He wasn't. Yeah, he wasn't. That's fine.
Yeah. All right, yo. I'm ready to sleep. That's the show. Thank you guys for watching. Lee, let them know they can find you, sir.
On Twitter @_Lee Escobedo, LeeEscobedo, and Jay and Fritz have dropped a link in the chat. Make sure you support and check out Be the Motivator on Dexter Henry's He.Game. She's a rising star here in the Knicks community. We're happy and proud to have her on the team. She's also a great friend to all of us. She keeps us laughing, even when she's dealing with some very stressful things outside of sports. So it's great to have a teammate you can depend on and someone who's there by your side, cheering you on as much as you're cheering them on.
Appreciate you guys.
Absolutely. All right, B. Let them know they can find you, B.
Here, KLT. If I'm not on KLT, I'm on Twitter talking my ish. Sporty Spice, SportySpicce. And yes, please, definitely. Fritz dropped the link already. If not, go on my page. You can see it there. I'm on Dexter recently.
Yeah, and I'm gonna put it on the community page.
Appreciate you guys. Thank you again.
Right. Yeah, no doubt. All right, Ryan G. Let them know they can find you, sir.
You can find me on Twitter @RyanGKOT. You can also find me on Instagram Sir G is chilling.
Sir G is chilling.
That's SIR. G is CHILLIN. And yes, big up B for her performance on Dexter's show. And also Mikal Bridges, Jose Alvarado. Your vacation time in LA is up. Y'all better show up in freaking Utah on Wednesday. I ain't playing with you people. I ain't playing with y'all.
Nah, you're for real.
I'm gonna drop a bomb for KLT. We're gonna end on me and Mikal are on a break until Mikal drops 20 again.
A break is crazy, not a break.
That mean Mikal dropping 20 plus in Utah. Yeah. It's confirmed.
Nah, nobody takes a break with me. You tell me we on a break. We broke up. My number changed. That's right. You can find us at the KOT Show on Twitter, the Knick Of Time Show on Instagram, and Knick Of Time Show on Facebook as well. SoundCloud, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, all that noise. You can find us. One more time, shout out to B. Did an amazing job. Best viewing yet. So definitely check her out on Dexter. Putting that on the community tab for the KOT Show. All right. That is the show. There you go. That is the show. Thank you guys for watching. And as always,
Shout out the worldwide West. Everywhere we go, we leave a worldwide mess.
Some mess out here in these Knicks streets. Get some sleep. That's the show. We out of here.
Peace.
New York, big city of dreams. New York, big city of dreams.
NYC.